Welcome everybody, Brother Goodwin here. You're watching Crossing the Spotlight. I know this Dr. Hiltebittle he's been taking vitamins and he looks younger now. But no, we've got Brother Gary Kah in the studio today with us, and we're honored to have him. You drove about 4.5, 5 hours to get here.
That's right, yep.
And
so nice little drive.
We're at least going to take you out to eat or something.
Oh, that's good of you. Mighty kind. Much obliged. Thank you.
So, Brother Gary, you've got a newsletter that you put out. Is it monthly?
No, it's a quarterly.
Oh, every 3 months.
And if we did a monthly, we wouldn't get anything else done because this thing takes a ton of time.
And I have a copy of the newest one right here.
We call it our Research News Journal. It's Hope for the World Update is the name of it.
It's really a magazine.
It is.
How many pages is this thing?
It's 20 pages typically. I write the lead article, and then we usually have about 8 or 10 other articles in there from cutting-edge researchers all around the world on the most important topics of the day that we feel that Christians need to be aware of. Okay. It's quite a challenge, but the Lord guides us and directs us, and we've been doing this publication for 25 years now, and it goes out in about 30 countries.
And they can go to Gary Kah, that's Gary, K-A-H,
correct,
.org, and they can find the magazine, they can sign up for the...
GaryKah.org, yes, it is subscription-based because that's how God has chosen to support us so we can keep doing what we do. But we encourage people, once they have it, do whatever they can to get it out. Yep. Replicate it, make copies. We just want to get the message out.
Okay. And the reason we've brought you in is the magazine here, or the newsletter, whatever you want to call this thing. And you have a lead article in here. We're not going to talk about it on here because they'll silence us. But anyway, we're going to talk about this on TV this coming week. And I want the folks to know about it, because it will not be on YouTube. So I want everybody out there that's watching, of course, make sure you have subscribed to our YouTube channel. Hit that red button down there. Subscribe. But I also need you to go to Rumble and sign up at Rumble for the same Prophecy in the Spotlight Rumble channel. It's just like the channel here, only it's Rumble. And the show that you and I are going to do, we're going to do 2 shows, and they're going to be phenomenal. You're not going to want to miss them. So if you don't get us on TV, on CTN, if you're not watching us there, then the only way to see it is going to be to get on Rumble and watch them there. They will not be on YouTube. They won't let us put them on here. So I want you to know that. So real quickly, Brother Gary, for the folks who don't know you, just a minute or two, who are you and what's your ministry about?
Well, for me, it all began back in the 80s. I worked for the government of Indiana, the Commerce Department, and had the wonderful opportunity to travel around the world dealing with our embassies in the area of export promotion, trying to create more jobs in Indiana by increasing our exports. And so I was on the payroll of the state government, but my meetings overseas were organized through the State Department, through the embassies, the commercial sections of the embassies. And so, long story short, in that job, I traveled over 20 countries, met a lot of amazing people at the embassies as well as in the international business community. And through all of that, discovered that there was already back then, this was in the 1980s, an effort underway behind the scenes to move us in the direction of eventually having a single global government, politically and part of a one world economic system, and trying to unite the world's religions to make all this possible. This was already underway in the 80s. And the problem was, the people who were pushing this, the one thing they consistently had in common was they weren't fond of conservative Jews or Christians. They pretty much hated Israel. And so coming from, my parents came over from Europe. They went through World War II. My dad fled from Croatia when the communists were coming in. My mom grew up under Hitler in Germany. After the war, they got married, came over here to the States. I was born here, but I grew up hearing about everything that they went through during the war and made a commitment to the Lord when I was in 6th grade, living near Dayton, Ohio. And I prayed, Lord, if anything were to ever happen in this country like what happened over there in Europe, I promise I will take a stand no matter the cost. And of course, as a kid, you never think that God may actually take you up on that.
Yeah.
But years later, here I am in this position in the government at a very young age, learning all of this, and I felt the Lord tugging on my heart, saying, okay, what are you going to do? I've given you all this information, put you in these key places to learn this. So now it's time. And so that's when all this began. I began speaking on the subject. And
Now, did you have to leave the government before you got on this journey?
well, it happened while I was with the government, and then opportunities presented themselves for me to be able to speak out on this, and that lasted for all of maybe 9 or 10 months. And then I was given an ultimatum that I needed to keep quiet or else leave my job. Now, mind you, that came despite the fact that I had gotten special awards and honors for my outstanding work from 3 leaders in the state government just months earlier. But when it came to this, they didn't want to hear it, and so I had to make a decision, and so I left my job ultimately.
That's a big decision. It seems simple, but that's your livelihood.
It was, and it was a dream job. I mean, it really was. I loved what I did, but I think now that I look back, I do believe that the Lord is sovereign, and I think He allowed this to happen because this was the little shove that I needed to go on and do this on a more full-time basis. And so that led into 6 years of research and writing, and that produced my first book, En Route to Global Occupation, that came out late 91, early 92.
And I have that right here. And believe it or not, let me have that one there, yeah. Believe it or not, I heard you on Marlon Maddox's Point of View.
Yep.
It was probably 91 or 92. It was somewhere in there.
92 probably.
Yeah. And it was about this book right here.
That's right.
And I'm just, let's see. I'm 31, 32 years old at the time. Just got out of Bible college. I was pastoring my first church, and I found Marlon Maddox up in the state of Maine, believe it or not, on the radio. And he was fascinating. I loved that guy.
That went out on about 200 stations or more at the time, and that really helped blast the information out there.
I can still hear the music in my head.
Yeah?
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
I can still hear it.
Oh, yeah.
I sing worse than I hum, so don't say anything. But
well, the Lord blessed me to be a regular on that program over the next number of years, and
I
then
probably
on some
ordered that
others.
book. I can't remember for sure. That was years ago. I probably had that book all those years ago because I was interested in this stuff. Mm-hmm. And Marlon Maddox, that show would come on. I listened to it every time I could, every day almost, Monday through Friday. And he hit the issues. I mean, he was just different.
Yeah.
Kind of like there's a few of them kind of guys today that you can't wait when their show comes on. You know they're going to talk about what's going on. Yeah. And
well, he did an excellent job and was a real man of integrity. Getting to know him personally.
Yeah.
Of
course, he's gone
when
now.
He passed. We really miss him. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got 2 books: The New World Religion and En Route to Global Occupation. This is about the fact that the world's going to be a one-world system. That's what this is about.
En Route to Global Occupation. It covers the political, the economic, and the religious aspects of this one-world movement, how they are intertwined, and who the main players are. And remember, this was written 30 years ago. But I've had people tell me as recently as last month it's more timely now than it was when it was written because now all this stuff is happening. So it shows people that this was a directive, this was an agenda already 30 years ago, and we're just seeing it now come to fruition.
And we were talking in the other room before we come on the air here. When you wrote this in the 80s or 90, wherever it was, you couldn't have never dreamed that sitting here right now with what's going on in the world, how it fits what you talked about.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know how long it would take for pieces to come together. You know, I never like to speculate on dates, but we knew there was an agenda, and sooner or later it would come about. What amazes me the most, perhaps, is how quickly now it's coming. It's like it was going kind of gradually, and now it's just almost exponential.
It's like the restraint is gone.
Yeah?
I think the delusion has already begun.
It's as if, in my thinking, it's as if God has been
He's
gradually lifting his hand of protection.
And he's done that because of our attitude.
Because of the overall lack of repentance. Yeah. People have been given every chance, and yet you look at the moral state of America today, and people are waking up now, but is it too little too late?
But I think a lot of them are waking up just because it's interfering with their personal liberty or their bank account.
Yeah,
and
that's part of it.
Not the real reasons they ought to be repentant. This is a reproach against God.
Yeah.
We're killing babies. Not only that, now recently we discovered they're selling body parts. And remember, they sued the guy who videoed that. They didn't go after the doctors who selling body parts. They sued the guy who supposedly, and he got off, by the way. And yet we still don't seem to care. So we're selling body parts. We're killing babies, selling their body parts, but oh well, so what else is going on?
Good is evil and evil is good.
Yeah.
Everything's been turned upside down
And so
in the last
God
20 or 30
begins
years.
to pull his hand off, and all this
Right.
evil is unleashing on us. I think the strong delusion the Bible talks about begins to be seen before the tribulation. I'm talking to Christians these days that you just can't believe what they say and what they do and they're thinking. You just think, well, wait a minute, how can you be that blind?
Yeah.
It's just like
A lot of people are missing the fact that the whole social justice movement, the push toward Marxism, the whole COVID thing and the way it's being manipulated in a certain direction, that all that intertwines. You've got some of the same people working all different sides of that, and the funding coming from some of the same sources. It's part of a much bigger agenda, and ultimately it's satanically inspired, if I may say that. I mean, no question about it. Yeah.
All right. So if folks want to get the newsletter, I go to Gary Kah, or it can be on the screen for you there, and check out his website, look around. There's lots of things there's even some shows that are on there they can listen to. I would recommend listening to the trumpet, the Last Trump show. With
Michael Chory.
With Michael Chory.
Yeah, great brother.
That's on his page there on his website. It talks about what we're going to talk about on TV. And in just a few minutes here, we're going to record that. And the book, do they get the books from your website or the Amazon?
No, you get the books through our website, and I failed to mention, in both books, we actually reproduce documents. So if I'm saying something and quoting somebody, if we have the actual document, we put it in there. So you've got letters on stationery of the organizations I'm talking about, that kind of thing. So it's really an investigative type of adventure as you read through the book, because every time you think, okay, that can't possibly be the case.
But you
turn the page, and on the next page is the document that proves it. So people really do need to be equipped with that because of all the skepticism out there today. And one thing I have found, Brother Dan, is that people are skeptical about the wrong things. The things that they need to be skeptical about today, it seems as if they're not questioning them. And the things that they ought to believe as true, that's what they're skeptical about, the truth. So again, Satan has masterminded this turn, and he is a master of reverse psychology. So people think they're headed in the right direction, and a lot of times the devil has them right where he wants them. And so we really need to be discerning as never before. I guess that's probably my biggest message of the day is if we're really living in the last days, which I believe we are, and if we heed the warning of Jesus in Matthew 24 that even the elect would be deceived if that were possible, we're talking about deception that may even come about in the name of Christ, where people who call themselves Christians are pushing a certain agenda because they've been drawn in and have had the wool pulled over their eyes. And so it's not to be overly skeptical, but we just need to get at the truth and recognize what it is and then stand firm on it and not give an inch with God's help.
Okay, now folks, what we're going to do, we're going to record a show for television that will not be on YouTube. It'll be on Rumble. So you need to go to Rumble, find us, Prophecy in the Spotlight, find us, and subscribe to that page, and you'll be able to watch that show. Or, of course, you can watch it on TV. It's on CTN every Friday night at 7 Eastern Time. I think we're also on Tuesday nights at 11 Eastern Time. And so you can do that as well, and you can DVR those. But we're also going to do another show for YouTube, and we're going to talk about some things that are in his books here, some things that are not going to get us banned off of here. So
hopefully,
and he's got plenty to talk about that they're not going to bother us with. At least not yet. Maybe that's coming. And one other thing before we let you go, we have a brand new donation package if you'd like to help keep us on the air and support the ministry. We're viewer supported. And we have a brand new little booklet that Dr. Hiltebittle, I'll put that over here. Brand new little booklet, The Mark of the Beast, that Dr. Hiltebittle just wrote. It's about 16 pages, I think. And we got that. We got a DVD from Michael Smith, some of these gospel tracts. We throw a bunch of them in, some of our bookmarks. And so you can go to the website, Prophecy in the Spotlight. You'll see it right there on the top of the page, and you can click on that. $50 or more donation pack. It's not worth $50, I'll tell you that right now. The DVD is not worth $50. this is just a way to thank you for your donations. And folks seem to, by the way, folks do seem to like this. We do one of these every 3 months. We have a different package deal, and folks seem to like it. And it's a big help to keep us on the air. So, all right, on that note, we'll get off of here. And don't forget the TV show coming up with him, or watch it on Rumble. So go to Rumble. All right, well, thanks for coming in today. And don't get up, though, because we're going to record a show here. All right, until next time, folks, keep your eyes on the skies.